It's hard to believe that you're only 18 years old and you've been told you'll spend the rest of your life in this facility.
I believe it's possible I could be here the rest of my life. I'm working on my appeal to this day.
If you believe that you can or you can't, you're right. Whichever one you choose. If you believe you can do it, you're right. If you believe that you can't, you're still right. This is my sincere prayer. My name is Corey Frazier. I thank y'all for listening to my talk. I'm just a kid from Flint, Michigan. I pray that all y'all have a blessed day on purpose. As today. I swear to God, I ain't gonna lie, I feel black privy right now. I feel black privilege and honor because I got a very, very special guest on the show today. My homie, my auntie. I mean, you think about it, she's every category that you know that represents the black community, the way that it should be represented. And that's the host of Sonnie's Corner on Sirius XM Radio, Patriot 125, Saturday, 1 p.m. to 3. That's your host, Sonnie Johnson.
Oh, you got everything right. What's up, bro?
I'm feeling great. I'm actually feeling amazing. How about yourself?
I'm feeling amazing too. I made it to your show finally.
We've
feeling left out when my babies don't invite me.
Well, you know what, Sonny? We've been together on multiple other platforms, but on the personal one, I had to take a break from social media for a minute. I don't know if you remember that for a while. Because I like to be honest, like on this side of the social media, it wasn't right. So I had to eliminate that for a while. And I'm back now. I'm in a good space mentally. My marriage is great. Kids are doing better. And now I can have you on, Sonny.
Oh, I love hearing all that. That made her happy right there. Because you know when you don't have those things in order, auntie got to pull you to the side and say, hold up, wait a minute. So auntie like you when you grown up and you grow mad and you handle that on your own, and auntie ain't got to pull you to the side and check you on that.
And you know, those don't never be pleasant.
No.
Everything you need to hear when an auntie say, come here.
Come
She
here,
coming from a different angle.
Let me grab you. No, we need to go away where other people can't hear. Don't nobody else need to hear what we about to talk about.
In fact, and don't care if you do tell your mom, and your mama knows better to go back and say something. That's that conversation between y'all.
I'm gonna tell your mama exactly what I said. Your mama agree with me because she the one who tried to tell you before, which way listen to her. So
that is totally correct.
So now you gotta take it from somebody that ain't gonna give you that mommy love, you know?
That is correct. That's totally correct. And Sonny, one thing I'm not gonna do with you in this conversation, is have the conversation that everybody is having politically right now, right? It is what's going on in November in DC. Like we know, if you want to click on any platform, you can
see how I divert.
Yeah,
you want to see my diversion skills? I'll take you off that subject real quick.
No, actually, that's fine. Well, like, once again, you the OG in the conversation. So wherever direction you want to go, cool. I just got a couple questions because of something that you taught me some years ago, where you taught me that local and state politics is what matters the most. It wasn't until you that I actually started paying attention to it. And when I really started to reflect and think about it, I started identifying where it affected me. There's no secret that I love criminal justice reform. This is what I do. I'm down here in Georgia trying to get juveniles that was sentenced to life without prison, at least the opportunity to get out of prison, because I don't believe nobody under 18 should have to die in prison. They don't know. That's a different conversation, but it is a local state conversation that needs to be had. And one of the things that brought me to that is that the issues that even I'm fighting for is more so the tip of the iceberg. It's the part that you see, but it's not the part that you don't see, because local and state government, we don't pay attention to. So one question I want to ask you, Sonny, and I know you're going to love this, but how many more other Fergusons exist in the black community? Because once again, like I say, that me talking about getting juveniles out means that there was a contact with police at some point. Now, once again, we know that Ferguson was because we got the report from the Obama administration to actually have this evidence presented to us. But my thing is, Does that exist in other Black communities? The Ferguson whole
Yeah,
situation.
like so after you can go and read the report that the DOJ did after Katrina as far as New Orleans is concerned. Also in parts of Alabama and Mississippi about how a lot of the communities that were completely destroyed in that area, how they
Mhm.
were set up inefficiently, even
Mhm.
though in most cases they were being overtaxed. So again, police set up taxation through law enforcement to meet their financial demands every quarter or so, and that becomes a way for them to collect taxes without actually saying that they're taxing, right? So
Mhm.
so where in one area they might just be like, okay, we're gonna do a 2% tax on X, Y, or Z. They know that they can't do that in areas that are heavy under poverty. So if you're looking at an area that's 50 to 60 to 70, 80% poverty, and yes, we have some areas in America that are 90, 91, 96, 97% poverty. Everybody
Mhm.
in that area is poverty. And that is not just Black areas, right? If you go to Appalachian, go across the middle of the country, you're going to find a whole bunch of deindustrialized areas that meet that exact same quota with white people in it. So this is not a racial kind of discussion, but it is a poverty discussion in terms of them understanding for their jurisdictions the necessity for them to raise funds when they cannot directly tax their citizens because of the economic situation being so bad in those areas. They find secondary ways to pull money out. And the highest way they do that is by using the enforcement wing or the police as a taxation force. And our system was not set up that way. So you can go and you can read the report DOJ pushed out on New Orleans. You can read the report they pushed out on Baltimore when they identified the gun task force, and they were doing the jump outs and running up on people. They had a report out of Wisconsin as well. But we have to understand about these reports while they are telling us what the local governments are doing. They are telling us these things with the intention that we will turn our local government power over to the federal. They
Oh
are
wow.
trying
Okay.
to tell us this to say, this is how your local government works. It's corrupt, it's inefficient, it's ineffective. Let the federal government come in and we will be a stopgap here, 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 here. So now if you go and you look at New Orleans is like officially one of the first federal hybrid cities in terms of how
Yeah.
they rebuilt after Katrina and
Trina.
how much of federal law, federal forces were inserted into New Orleans, right? And it's the same thing with Ferguson. They now have a more federalized presence, as well as Milwaukee has a more federalized presence. I think you're going to start to see that happen in Baltimore. I think you're starting to see that happen in New York. I don't think New York
That's
was
gonna be real
set
scary
up.
though. Wouldn't it be real scary for the federal government? Because that what separates the federal government from the state is that the state has the ability to operate
And to
independently of its
stop, the
own.
state becomes your barrier from the feds. And so when you bypass all of that, you take out the checks and balances, right? So
Mm-hmm.
once it's just you and the Fed, who are you going to run to stop the Fed,
Nobody.
right? And even if anybody you got to run to is another area of the Fed, like the Supreme Court, and you're
Court.
looking at that,
Exactly.
and how
Congress.
many years it would even take you to get a case in front of the Supreme Court. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason our government is set up like a republic is that we were not supposed to be in that situation where we were fighting with the federal government for our basic essential living condition. That was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be handled by people who were closer to us, who we could hold more accountable. And if they got to the point where accountability, their corruption toppled the accountability, then we would have other resources like going to the state or going to the
Mm-hmm.
Fed or going like to be able to pull them back, right? So
Uh-huh.
once you remove those barriers and it's just us and the Fed, there is no recourse for you to go around when the Fed misusing its power.
I totally agree. And Sonny, one thing that I noticed, especially living down here in the metro Atlanta area, we get caught up, and then I live in a very strong Democratic stronghold out here in DeKalb County. And it's like I said, Anderson King ran in this district, and really, I mean, I hate that it happened to her, but she got her ass handed to her because of the way the district is set up and the people over here. When it comes to actually looking at these political officials, one thing that I get so set up about is that we get caught up in the idea of this person being black, even though politically they may never had the best intention for us. For example, down here in Atlanta, and I'm with you very, very well familiar with, and that's Fannie Willis. Right, regardless of how you felt about her, there still was political scandals, political corruption in all forms, especially when it comes from that office, right? Especially when it comes to talking about prosecuting not only just black people, but being responsible for prosecuting any violation that happens in Fulton County. And the question I want to ask you is that, how can we just get over the fact that this is a black person in their seat knowing that they fucking us over?
We have to care about ourselves and actually understand. See, this is the issue, right? We don't understand policy. We just understand government fucks us, right? That's what we look at. So that's all we know. And we assume that putting black people in these positions will stop the government from, abusing its power over the limit. But if it comes to detachment, when we don't realize those people are power, those are literally the people that you say are exercising force over you that curtails your rights as a citizen, right?
Yeah.
It's mostly black people. So it goes back to this whole conversation around like the crime deal. And of course, everybody wants to blame Joe Biden, and he deserves a certain amount of culpability in that. But when you have 60-70% of the congressional black caucus backing the crime bill.
Backing it, exactly.
Some principal Democrats that were like, no, we understand what this is. We know what this means. This is not good for black people. There were principal black Democrats that stood on their square and refused to go along with the mass incarceration of black Americans. But the vast majority were okay with it.
That is true, yeah.
Understand why they were okay with it. And once we understand that, then we can start to realize how to pick through the people to best represent us. And the reason that they were okay with it is because they expected us to be grateful.
Yeah, they did.
They expected not for the crime bill. They expected us to be grateful for the poverty bills that came before the crime bill, right?
That is true.
They expected for us to be grateful that we were herded into projects. They expected us to be grateful that job opportunities were lacking. They expected us to be grateful that the school systems were failing. They expected us to be grateful. And grateful people would have respected the gifts that they bestowed upon us. We would have understood the benevolence of their action, and we did it. We pushed back against their death, poverty, and destruction. We decided their Poverty for Life program was not fit for us. We pushed back. We were not grateful. We were angry.
Yeah, we was. So yes, ma'am.
Now they're hit with this question about why are these communities that we run, that we control, why are they being overwhelmed with drugs? Why are they being overwhelmed with violence, right? And it never occurred to them that it was their policies that created these conditions. It wasn't black people bad. It wasn't black people violent. At all. It wasn't black people lazy. It was you. And you decided here to put us into a little box and have us come to government and pick out of his hand and then turn around and expect us to be grateful for it. So where they landed was at a place where they could not explain the outcomes and the areas that they ruled over under the policies that they put in place. And it became a lot easier
Come on.
for them to, instead of defend their own ideology, to go ahead and lock up the ungrateful niggas that just don't understand their beneficence.
I not totally agree, because I was some of those first children that was affected by the first crime bill that went to prison. They crafted that in 94, and I got locked up in 95. And one of the things that brings to attention, Sonnie, that you just said in that whole piece was this here, immigration. Like, I'm somebody that's about to explain to you down here in Atlanta, you finally see it as somebody that I live in the hood, and I'm not going to shit you about none of that. I live out here in DeKalb County, out here in Decatur. And if you know anything about Candler Road is, because they don't have a Martin Luther King in Decatur, this will be Martin Luther King. So I don't even have to go no further on how you can visualize what I'm talking about. And when we first moved over here back in 2015, this was all a Black predominant area. Even in the townhouses that we lived in, we moved a couple of times, and now me and my family find our way back over here. And in the same townhouse complex that me and my family lived in, that was right up Canlan Road, it is full of non-speaking Hispanics.
Yeah, because they will be grateful. Understand what I'm talking about when it comes to this idea of being grateful. Democrats need, therefore, to be grateful. And so they are looking at a Black community that had Black Wall Street. Down in Atlanta, y'all know what Black Rock looks like, because it's right around the fucking corner.
Yes,
so
it is.
Like, you are not going to make us appreciate and accept your death, poverty, and destruction. It is not going to happen. But when you take people from Venezuela, when you take people from Chile, when you take people from Ecuador, they become grateful.
They do, yes, that is, right? Yep.
And understand this, the benefits, and even if you think about how they're getting these benefits, they are getting 2 to 3 times the benefits that they would have given an average Americans that have found themselves in that exact same situation.
For the most part, you can't even get access to them. You can't even get these programs.
So like now you're looking and you're saying, like, if you were giving $5,000 a month grants to Black families, you understand how many Black homeowners you would have? But you weren't doing that. You wanted to give Black people Section 8. You wasn't giving them $5,000 of grant. But imagine how many Black people would be in homes if that was actually the type of program you were operating. And I'm just saying, like, say you did it, say, okay, look, instead of you get on welfare for the next 20 to 30 years, we're gonna give you $5,000 a month for 2 years to set you up, get you in the house, get your finances straight, and by then you can be up and shooting a member of society that no longer needs welfare, right? Now, I'm not even saying that that's something that I would even
subscribe to. Even most Black people wouldn't even subscribe to it. But the idea that it be, yes,
if you're going to do it and you want success and you want a real change, a real shift, that would have been a better way to do it than the generational poverty that they pushed on us for decades, right? And then again, understanding how they use their enforcement wing as a taxation force to help keep people there, right? And then you add on top of that the redlining, you add on top of that limited access to banking, you add on top of that all the regulatory burdens and vulture capitalists that were in that area taking advantage of people, and then those people were not allowed to sue and get their money back. So it wasn't, you can say, oh, he did it, he was a vulture in our community, but government let him be. The reason he remained a vulture is because government let him. If government would have stopped him and pressed charges, he could not have remained a vulture. Also, if government would have let the people in that community handle him properly, he would not have remained a vulture.
That is correct.
But you take away our ability to use the court system to bring us justice. You also take away our ability to handle our justice in our own right. And then you wonder why we're in the streets screaming, no justice, no peace. Because where the hell are we supposed to get justice?
We can't get it from the government on no level. So we this is why they don't understand. We get emotional and handle things the way that we handle them.
And it's not emotion. It's human
Mm.
nature. It's human
Yeah.
nature,
Yeah.
right? All of us have an element in us for survival. All of
Mm-hmm.
us have an element in us that understand fairness. And even though we understand the world doesn't operate under fairness, we clearly see and understand when it is being unfair, purposely targeted towards us. You know, and that is something where human nature kicks in. And
Yeah.
I
You
cannot
just get tired.
expect the system to value me as a human, like I value me as a human,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right?
That's
Like,
right.
I
Yeah.
don't care how anybody else values me, how I value
Feel about
me.
myself. Exactly.
Exactly. So no, I'm not gonna let somebody be blatantly disrespectful. I'm not gonna let somebody take advantage of me. And if you, as the system, don't want to enshrine or ensure those protections to me
Mm-hmm.
or to my community, do not get upset when we take upon ourselves to make sure those actions are carried out.
And then I agree, because you always, like I said, you always preach that the local and state government is the one that has the most, you have the most access to the local and state government. It ain't the federal government. Like I was just in DC literally probably about 2 weeks ago. You can't just go to the Capitol no more. You can't walk up to the White House like you used to do in the 80s. And would it be fair to say that we get so caught up in the federal level, which would be the shiny object, that we forget about the local? And this is how we have situations like Ferguson. We have situations, the intentional detriment or the intent to not rebuild Black Wall Street. Would that be fair?
You have black people say all the time that they don't vote because they don't believe anything will change.
Mhm.
That's what happens when you prioritize federal politics, right?
Mhm.
That's where you get that detachment. They're like, nothing is going to change. Why should I vote? Why should I participate? Now, you start talking to them about, okay, do you know we can vote on these judges, these local judges? We can vote on these local DAs, right? We can vote on these planning commissions that are identifying us. Like, there are so many things on the local level that we can actually vote to change the circumstances and situations that we are facing every single day, right?
Mhm.
And the reason why you don't feel like anything is going to change is because you're not looking at that area. You're not looking in the right place. So
I
if
agree.
you want things to change, if you want to see things differently, you have to do it locally. And they try to act like white people got this secret. No, the white secret is
No.
they understand their local
They
government. They control
they
one
do.
and dominate their local government. That is not white supremacy.
It's not. They
That
come
is
to board meetings. They come at all this stuff. Education board
you don't
meetings.
want to go because politics are boring or politics is this, so you
Mhm.
don't want to activate, so you don't know what the hell is going on. People who don't have your best interests at heart are the ones that actually show up, are actually put into office or put into some kind of bureaucratic role, and now they are creating your reality through politics, through legislation, regulation, and taxation. So
Mhm.
you can say all day long that you don't want, or you don't think anything is going to change. And out there is some person, you don't even know their name, and they're going to have this impactful decision that is going to change your life, and
Mhm.
you have no say in
No,
it. You have
no say.
and you don't even know their name. And it's not that they're hidden, it's just that you don't want to know their name.
You don't want to
And
know. I agree.
And then when everything goes wrong, you want to talk about how, oh, it's America. It's not America.
That is correct.
It's your mayor. It's your city
It's
council.
council, school
It's
board
your
education.
board. Yes, that's what it is. And
Mhm.
if you look at that, you would understand how close you are to the problem.
And I agree. That's why I sit on. I'm a Go Team member down here in Atlanta for my daughter's school. Like I sit on the. I'm a member of a board that actually
Oh,
know where
yeah.
every dollar is going in, where every dollar is being spent. I mean, I sit on it but bi-weekly. I sit on. We have video calls like this, so I understand that if I'm going to invest in my daughter's education, even though at the moment it's public, no, I got to be actively involved with this. Because for me, and I'm gonna be honest, I'll go here to say one of the cases down here in Atlanta was this woman in Cobb County decided to a teacher decided to teach her her fifth grade class gender politics or gender identity. And for me as a dad, I don't want my daughter coming home, we having this conversation. She shouldn't know nothing about it. So if I don't want her to have this conversation coming home from school with it, I have to be actively involved and know what's going on. I have to know the principal. I have to know the teachers. I have to know the people inside the office. And I believe that if we collectively do this together, then we can make an impact, especially on the education for Black children, because most of us have to go to public schools.
And this is why I'm not against charter schools. I'm not against private schools. I'm not against homeschooling. I'm not against group education, Montessori style schools. I think that all of those things should be a part of education. And what fits best for your kid is the decision that you need to make. But in that, I am also very, very realistic about abandoning the public schools, right? So if you have 1 million kids and you get 100,000 of those kids to be homeschooled or to be put into charter schools or Montessori's or whatever, right? There's still 900,000 kids that are in the public school.
I agree.
Like,
I totally agree.
What you are still leaving your kid outnumbered 1 to 9. Like you are not, and yes, you are solving a problem for your kid, and your kid should be your priority, right? And I say this as sending my daughter through public school, understanding, seeing all this stuff back home. I wasn't very active in her school because I'm me, and she was like, no,
Yeah.
like, no. I don't want you. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. She had to literally back me because you know what I'm going to do. You know how I'm going to act. You know how I'm going to be. And so she was like, I understand why you want to be this way. I understand why you feel. I am going to grow up and take this on because I don't want you there.
That is,
you know.
Come on.
And I'm like, fine, as long as I can see you can handle it, I'm going to turn that responsibility over to you. She graduated. She's in college now. She doesn't have a
my little applause button for you.
She doesn't have a problem with her gender. Oh, she's about to do a double major in biology and chemistry. I love saying that because I was like the worst kid in science. I hated.
I hated math.
It was my worst. I could pass math. I could pass social studies. I could pass English. I'm talking about without even studying. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I was good like that. And then the only class that would screw me up would be science.
With science.
That would be the only class. Biology, chemistry, physics, all of it just screwed me up. And for
so it's
her,
kind of like a void field for you.
and for her to go in, it's like, oh, and my baby picked up my weak spots, you know?
Yeah, that's dope. That's real dope.
And she got all the other gifts. She got the gift of gab. She got the intelligence. She got the quickness. She's sharp. Very, 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 very witty. So you know what I'm saying? I'm very, 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 very proud of baby squirrel.
And you should be. And you should be. And with that saying, I got 2 more questions for you, Sonnie. All right. One of them is this here. And this is, I want to talk locally Black economics for a minute.
Okay.
Because if I'm not mistaken, you said that you learned your conservatism from Jay-Z when it comes to economics.
Yes.
Would that be fair?
Yes. That's the first time I actually started thinking about how money was.
And I would agree with you on that because Jay-Z.
When Jay said my single was 99 cents, your single was 99 cents, mine was $4. And of course I was high when I thought it, right? You know, and it was back in the day. And You know how it is, and they hit you, and you're like, oh, and yeah, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, what would create that difference in price? What would create that difference in value? What would make me pay $4 for Jay-Z when I wouldn't even pay 99 cents for these other artists, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
That began my whole way of actually thinking about money and how it works. And like when he said, what's the difference between a 4.0 and a
4.6?
4.0 and a 4.6. Like 30 to 40 grand.
40, yeah,
so like, when you hear that, it makes you realize, like, so the people who really got it are gonna know that you don't really got it.
Facts.
And
Facts.
people that don't got it and want to pretend that they do, why are you trying to impress them?
That 4.0 to 4.6 is a big difference. It's a big difference.
It's a big difference. So, but that's when it got me to the point, even as a teenager, where I was like fucking name brands. I can go and buy a $7 dress off the clearance rack and still stole all you bitch, right?
Yeah.
Y'all go and spend all y'all dough, getting the purses and all of that. I'm gonna do it my way. And of course, you know, you go and you find you some good shoes. You don't skimp on your shoes.
Yeah, no, you don't.
No,
Everything else.
My whole outfit would be $50, and I spent $40 on the shoes. You know what I'm saying? So like.
And then speaking of that, Sonny, just like what you're saying about how your buying power, right? NBC, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the other day I read it. They said that it's projected in 2024 that Black people, will spend $1.8 trillion.
We have the money.
We have them. So why aren't we building more Wall Streets?
Because we are not utilizing capitalism. Right? We're stuck in our materialism phase. Well, we're not stuck. I think we're moving into our invested phase. But I give Black people grace in this regard, right? So you have generations of poverty. And now you have those generations picking themselves up out of poverty, right? And we're like, okay, well, why aren't you picking yourself out of poverty and going straight into investment class? Because there's a whole bunch of materialism in the middle. There's some shit we never had. So now,
that is true, yeah. I agree.
Like, I can get a car. You asking me to invest. Do you understand? I've been catching a bus for 5 years.
Yeah.
I can now afford a fucking car. I'm gonna get the car. So it becomes some areas of materialism that we have to go through. You have to go through these things. It's not, and even going back to Jay, it's the same thing when he put out 444. It showed you the difference from a reasonable doubt and value one to now. Right?
Yeah.
Well, back then he was buying the chains in the car. Now he wish he had took that money and put it in gumbo.
He do, yeah. And gumbo, tax. Yeah, the department. Yeah.
Saying, though. So in that period that we're in, we have to give ourselves grace for that.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying.
Because
yeah.
we come from not having, then we are able to actually buy our kids Christmas. Or you know what I'm saying? We're able to actually take our spouse out on vacation for Father's Day. It becomes things that we could never do. We never saw our parents do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
And it's just a certain level of, can I live?
And I agree, because
can I live? And once you get through that, can I live phase? And I really wish that more Black people would reduce the amount of time they spend in that phase. Right? So I would give you grace for being in that phase, but I would also say reduce the amount of time you spend in that phase. Right? And again, it's the same thing like when you see an NBA player or an NFL player and they make it big. And the first thing they do is go and buy their mama a house.
Yeah.
Are you going to really be mad at them because they went for materialism instead of an investment?
No, you won't.
my
No, you
mama
would.
did everything for me. I'm gonna buy my
Yeah.
mama a house before anything. Not all of it is bad, right?
I agree from that, and I've never looked at it like that. I swear I haven't, Sonny. Because
Yeah.
you just made me think of
Now,
my
just
cousin.
don't be going to get no BBLs and no boob jobs or doing some fucked up shit to your lips
Yeah,
or face. Like,
I
to
agree with
me,
you.
that's the part where I give no grace. God made you the way you are. Love yourself.
You
Love
supposed to grow
yourself.
old. You supposed to grow old.
You
You
supposed to
know.
work like me. I'm not
Yeah.
like I do these interviews and I'm constantly like trying to put makeup on this shit to do these interviews because I'm like everybody else does. And I'm like, no, fuck that. I don't wear makeup. My
And I'm
husband loves
hey,
me. My daughter
yes,
adores me. So
that's
why
what
am
this one
I
count.
every time I have to do this video going and making myself look and feel like something that I'm not? You know,
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just not. So you know what I'm
And,
saying? I
and
just
you free to be that, Sonny. You deserve that. Like for
thank
me,
you.
and I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I know we have these iconic people that we look up to, and for me, Sonny, and I know you not gonna really accept this like this because I know you have been rocking with you for a while. But I do feel like, for me personally, when you hear the Minister Farrakhan, the Sonnie Johnsons is all in the same thing because of what how y'all invest your time, energy, and effort and life to uplifting the Black community, whether it's spiritual, political, emotional. And I think you deserve all that, Sonny, because I see you. I know if you wanted that blue check on Twitter, you could get it. But that ain't
No,
you. That
no,
ain't you.
I didn't want the blue check when it was free. You know
I
what I'm
know.
saying? So
I
we
know.
are not, you know, they tried to give it to me. They wrote me and tried to get like many times. I'm like, it's not of interest to me. It doesn't do anything for me, right?
Uh,
I need to be able to reach my base, right? In the
yeah.
political space, I'm not reaching my base. Social media lets me reach my base. And that's
No,
because
that's cool. The good part of it.
yeah, and so that's just what I had to cultivate it to be, you know. So I don't do a whole bunch of hashtags. I've started going viral more lately, but that doesn't mean I put any effort into it. It's just that that's just the way it goes, right?
It's resonating. The message is resonating with people.
Yeah, and so that's just how it's turning out. But everything that we have that we've built, our family, all of that came organically. All of that came through voluntary association. But nobody was guilted into it. Nobody was shamed into it. Everybody feels loved, feels accepted. Yes, we fight. Yes, we
Yeah, we
fight.
do.
No, we don't always agree. And
Family's supposed to do that.
I'm a tough motherfucking cookie when we in argument mode. But you know I'm gonna love you afterwards,
That
right?
is
And
true.
you know we're
Yeah,
gonna come back tomorrow and we're gonna do it
that is
again.
true. That
And
is
that's
true.
just
Yeah.
that family thing that is like, this is what I grew up in. This is what I know. So I don't know how to love Black people any different than that. That's just how I know how to love Black people, right?
And that's why I'm gonna do it again one more time. I'm gonna throw in the ether, Sonny's barbecue. We got to make that happen. We
Look,
got.
you say that I'm actually going to be moving home, and I've been in Northern Virginia. I'm originally from Richmond, and I'm going back to Richmond. So that's gonna be my fix where I live. That's gonna be my fix where I love. You know, so I need to go back to that. And so I haven't that and so I'm thinking like, so everybody has their one event that they do every single year. That everybody is invited. And I told my husband, I said, that's what I want. My event is going to be July 4th. And it's going to be a fucking blowout of just people from everywhere that make it a point to come and spend the 4th of July with us. You know what I'm saying? And just have it where it is fellowship. It's no politics. I want babies. I want, you know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you now, I'll volunteer to sit on that committee. You got my full everything to sit on this committee and make this happen. You got it. I'm giving you my word on that, Sonny. So you let me know because it needs to happen. The hotel, I've been to HotepCon before. That was dope when I went to HotepCon out in Vegas.
Fun. So
we
much
need a Sonny's barbecue. Why not?
And I think Maj is doing a solutionary summit this year as well. So
I've been to that. I've been to the Solutionary Summit down here in Atlanta.
Solutionary and HelloSepCon are like the two best, the two best kind of, because it's fellowship, right?
It is.
And we talk about stuff. We have had the conversation, but it's fellowship. And I'd be in auntie mode. I'd be like, I grab everybody. You know what I'm saying? I grab everybody. Do. It gives me that opportunity to do that, just to check in. And it's one thing when we're talking online or we're on the phone. I can't see your eyes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
when we're in person. I can see your eyes. So
eyes are the window to the soul.
Now I can tell when you lie to me. Yeah. Now I can tell when
you bullshitting you.
When you're telling me 50% of the truth, because you know that other 50% will paint your ass guilty. I start telling those things. You know, auntie vision comes in.
Yeah.
But that to me becomes why I love Border. And then all the love you guys give me when y'all are so super excited to see me, I'm equally excited to see y'all. And this is where I'm gonna take your praise, right? Y'all think I don't accept it, or y'all think I don't necessarily like it. I do. That's why you see me come back.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always coming back. I'm always coming back. Now, I'm not a big ego person. I'm not a big self-promotion person, right? If I had the choice, I would stay in my family. I would I love my family. I love my life, you know.
I feel you on that. I do. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like that's what I would do. I'm not shooting to be the it girl. I don't want to be like. That's not why I'm doing it. I just found that can't nobody do it like me. You know,
they can't.
And I don't say that out of vanity, but
it's the truth. It is what it is. Water is water. Water is wet.
If I see one, I'm gonna recruit them to be the face and go out and do it. I'm gonna recruit them. I'm not gonna be jealous and be like, oh, it can only be me. No, I'm like, come on, let me sharpen you. Let me shine up your armor. Let me watch that sharp. Boom. Because it needs to be more of us. And again, you keep running into these people with these egos.
I know it's
ulterior motives and no connection to the community, no understanding about what they're doing, no historical context, no cultural relevance, right? No faith attached.
I know.
Right?
I know.
So, as a Black person, you should not go anywhere and someone says God is good.
No, you're right. You're right. No, that's the biggest red flag you can ever get in your life.
A red flag in that.
Never.
Black people say God is good, and the Black person doesn't know how to respond to you.
Don't go there. Don't go there. All the time. They can't. Come on now. This is why we love you, Sonnie.
This is without taking them.
This is why we love you, because, like I say, somebody like myself, and don't think I'm shading myself, but I understand where I stand at politically in different spheres of life. I'm still a husband working a 9-to-5 who's an activist that's making no money from it down here in Atlanta, other than from time to time a book sale. But that's fine to me.
See that? That makes you everything. That's what you need to have. That makes you everything, right? Because you're not only just being what responsibility tells you have to be. You're being what your soul tells you want to be. So it goes beyond just the title of dad or just the title of husband. I want to love my wife. I want to be a part of my kids. I want to be a part. Like that, those are not things that those are choices. Right? Those are choices. To give your time to ungrateful people because you believe in policy. To show up to events where you would rather be in your house ordering a bucket of fried chicken, watching John Wick 4 I'm here to watch that. Let me finish.
Listen,
I haven't seen it yet.
Go ahead. Yo, I got you. I ain't gonna say nothing. Go. I got you.
But that's kind of you know what I'm saying? there are alternative things you could be doing with your time outside of your activism, outside of giving a fuck about other people. And you choose to care about other people.
I do, and I mean,
That's what makes it everything. You get what I'm saying? That's what makes it everything. And I would take $1 million of you over some of these people who they can look at them on paper, they got it all together, but they cheat on their spouse and their spouse cheats on them.
That's right, yeah.
Their kids can't stand them except when they're putting more money onto the bank card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
The partner at the job is looking for every way to share, to sell his stake because he don't want to be there anymore. Like,
yeah.
we should look on paper and you can see, like, okay, this person is rocking. They got it all together. And then when you actually see, you realize, okay, how about we give you an example? You could be Diddy.
I know.
You could be Diddy. If you look at it
on paper, exactly.
it looks good.
Yes,
right?
he does.
Looks good on paper.
Yeah.
Of course, until that paper is in the restaurant or surfboard.
Man, I know.
Now all of a sudden, that paperwork don't look so good, right?
It don't at all. It's tainted. It's smeared. It looks real bad.
So if your leading attributes are, I am a husband that loves his wife. I am a father that loves and adores and is present in his kids' lives. I am a brother, a brother, an uncle, a cousin, you know what I'm saying? And I check in with my peoples. I am a community, I'm an activist. I got to make sure I know what's going on, not only on my block, but in the surroundings. Those are choices. Those are beautiful, beautiful choices. And I think that the people that make those choices are the most beautiful people. So to me, that's why you notice if you look at the people I surround myself with, they all look like you.
Yeah, they do. But once again, I can never I thank you for that. It's because you inspire, you motivate, Sonnie. Like I never once thought about getting even active, especially locally, if it wasn't for you. Like my mother, once again, my mother was a staunch Democrat that voted Democrat all the way.
You come along, you told me that story. And now I'm like, how I had to fight harder because I know he ain't dealing more. And I know that there are more life children that are doing the work. And they're not going to get the radio shows. They're not going to get the speaking spots. They're not going to get, well, guess where you are going to get them at? You're going to get them on Sonnie's Corner. I created
that's all we need. We don't need nothing else.
I created an entire platform because nobody else is gonna give it to you, but guess where you're gonna get it? You're gonna have it.
And you do.
So if you go down the list of people who will tell you that their first national interview or syndicated radio interview was with Sonnie's Corner, it's a lot of people. It's a
Mine's lot. Also. Mine's too. And now, like once again, Sonnie, and I'm not gonna hold you much longer because, like I said, I know you got a lot going. I know we can continue to do this, and I know you're gonna give me another shot, and I'm gonna be on your show in the very near future. And I thank you, Sonnie, because once again, we like to say we don't like to speak on behalf of nobody, but I'm telling you, I'll be speaking on behalf of a lot of people like myself that you inspire, you motivate daily to look at politics from what our mamas and grandmamas taught us how to look at, and granddaddies taught us how to look at politics.
Yeah.
And to understand that even though they made conservatism seem evil and everything racist, no, you make us understand it and be able to say, hold on, I can fuck with that.
No, your mama, I don't know. Let's give mamas because people get very upset when you use mamas. But your grandmama taught you to be a conservative.
You're right. And granddaddy did too. Yes.
Wanted to go to church every Sunday.
That is true.
Your grandmama made sure you spoke properly. You respected your elders.
That is true.
You spoke when you entered a room. You knew how to act around your grandmother because your grandmother demanded did so, right?
That is
But
true.
grandma
Yes.
also inspired you to read. She tried to get you to open up your horizons and start thinking more about what you could be, what you want to be, dream a little bit. Like
Mm-hmm.
grandma did all the things. She told you how to manage your money. She
She
refused
did.
to let you she refused to let you be frivolous, right? She
She
rewarded
did.
you when she saw you doing right, and she ridiculed you when she saw you doing wrong.
She
Grandma
taught you
gave you
families. That's why she never let you go in the system. She taught you a lot.
yeah, and if she had to suffer or go it out so
Mm-hmm.
that you didn't have to go that route, then that's what grandma would do, right? And so that's
That
how
is true.
that's how my grandmother was. And then I noticed that the generation after my grandmother, so my mother's generation, not my mother specifically, but my auntie. My
Mm-hmm.
aunties, when we would have this conversation, my aunties would be like, I had a specific auntie, we had this conversation, and I'm like, you would never go. Would you go on welfare? And I asked her straight up, would you go on welfare? And at
Yeah.
first, like, no, I would never. If
Mm-hmm.
it came down to that, I would cut back my expenses. I would do this. I would do that. I like, no, there's no way I would go on welfare. And so, well, why is your solution for us welfare?
Yeah.
Like, you would never take it for yourself.
So, but it's good for the
So
masses.
why is it good for us?
Yeah.
And she answered me, and this is what I remember. Y'all generation are not like ours.
Mm.
I was like, wait a minute. You do understand you raised us.
Yeah, we're the direct result of what you
We are
invested
the
into.
direct result of you.
Yes.
So what do you mean we are different? What did you do differently? Because the one thing you did differently was tell us to listen to Democrats.
Yeah. I totally agree, because me with my mother, God rest her soul, she isn't here right now, but I remember her telling me the same things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
my mom.
I'm trying my best not to make that same mistake, because I'm a grandfather now, Sonny. I don't know if you know that, but I'm a grandfather now.
No, I did
Yeah.
not know
3 months.
that.
We got a 3-month-old living with us.
Congratulations. I get
Well,
more
thank
babies.
you.
I
But
love a baby.
I do too, but I love when I can give her back. Here, boy, this baby crying. You better come get this boy, this baby. She crying.
I said that, but I just think, like, if little one has one, I'm so gonna be that grandma. I'm gonna be that grandma. Like, get her ready. I'll be there in 15 minutes.
That's my wife.
Later on
That's
the
my
night.
wife. My
Don't
wife
ask
all
me
the
no
way
questions
in.
about what we doing. I'm gonna bring her back. She gonna have 10 fingers, 10 toes. And I'll bring her back later on. Don't ask me no questions. I got her. I'm definitely gonna be that kind of grandma. I love the babies. And I love legacy, you know. I love
Me, that's how I look at it. That's how I see it. Said I see legacy. I want to be. I tell my wife all the time, when our grandchild is older, I still want my grandchild to see grandmama and granddaddy.
yes,
You know, that's not common no more now. One of us passed, different story, but
because I remember when I was a teenager, and I have my auntie and my uncle, because my parents didn't get married. They didn't stay together. So I had no example of it, right? But I had my auntie and uncle, and my auntie was in the kitchen reaching under the counter. You know, she was bent over reaching on the counter. And my uncle came in and started grabbing on her butt. And I was like, oh my God, that is what I want. That is what I want.
Yes.
I want a husband that I had been married to for 25 years that still pinches my butt. Like, that's what I want. And I got it, you know, I got it. And
and that's dope.
We're going on 24 years now. So, you know what I'm saying? I found it.
I'm going on half of that. This year, it'll be 12 for me and my wife.
Congrats.
You know.
See? No,
yeah.
family. Do you understand? Like, this is what we could have. This is what we could build. This is what we could grow. This could be us, you know?
I agree.
The more us that stand up and that get active, not caring about what the main people accept, or but us just doing this, our numbers are going to continue to grow and continue.
I agree. I agree.
There are millions of us, right? And all we want to do is live, create legacies, love our
That's
country,
it.
participate, and be happy, right? Just be
And
happy.
and that's it. And leave us alone. God damn, leave us
And leave us
alone.
the fuck alone. And
Oh
who
yes.
government to leave us the fuck
The fuck
alone.
alone.
Stop inflating our fucking dollar. Stop
Stop
opening
it.
up the fucking border. Stop
Stop
creating
it.
wars every fucking where. Stop trying to tax water and air. Like, if
Air.
you can just manage to leave us alone,
Leave
I
us
think you'll
alone.
find a lot more happier.
Healing, all kind of stuff would happen if they just leave us the fuck alone.
Yes, just leave us alone.
And Sonnie, this is my last question for you, okay? Because like I said, once again, I know your time, and plus, once again, I'm a husband. I got a wife and a grandbaby. We all live under the same roof. Yeah, all my when we had this baby, I need my village. I need my whole village. We got a whole house. We all have a room in here, and we're gonna do this until we actually really, really ready. So this is how we live in it.
And I think is the most beautiful thing. I think that is so beautiful.
Because we tried to do it separate, and it didn't work that way. But collectively, this works for us.
I like this, right? We used to do that. That's how we used to be, right? That's how we survived. That's how we grew. That's how they came in and started passing regulation that said if you had this many adults, this many kids in the house, it was illegal.
I know.
They came in. This is what I mean when I'm talking about we didn't abandon those states.
No, we didn't.
We
No.
give them up willingly.
No, we didn't.
We had enforcement from government through legislation, regulation, and taxation, right?
That is true, yes.
If we remove those things and think about how they punished us for excess cohabitation, what they call it, right? Now you see the 30 Mexicans living in one house.
In one house.
But ain't nobody showing up to knock on their door with CPS.
None of that.
Right?
None of it.
Nobody coming to snatch their kids out and take their kids and put their kids into the system and then make them have to fight the system to get their kids back. So
Not at all.
everything they punished us for, the others get really.
And this is why I'm getting so pissed, especially living in these dominant Democratic strongholds. It's like we see this shit that's going on, but we continue to keep voting it in and voting it out. Well, we won't vote it out, I should put it like that. But last question, Sonnie.
Give it an option. We'll give y'all an option. Go ahead.
I know, but trust me, I'm an insider with y'all. I'm just trying to get other people to see it different. Listen, I have conservative. I can honestly say I'm a conservative. My aunt just figured that out not too long ago, but she said it though. She was like, "That makes sense with you, Corey." So
it does, right? And there's millions of us.
And I agree. Last question: when you gonna run for local office so all of us in Sonnie's Corner can move to wherever you run at and we be there with you?
Like I said, I'm going home. So and that's definitely something that I'm going to be looking into very, very, very seriously. Where I'm at now, I don't like this isn't where I love. This isn't where I
know.
It is where I raised my family. It is, you know what I'm saying? But it isn't where I love, right? Richmond is where I love. And you fix not only where you live, you fix where you love.
That is true.
I'm going to be going home this summer and really tap into the apparatus. Really, actually, I'm going to take it over. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to
call it what it is. It is what it is.
I'm going full takeover mode. I'm going full infiltration mode. I did it before, but I didn't know what I was doing the last time.
Now you know.
I was very, very inexperienced. I really didn't understand. Now I understand. Now I know. And it's right for the taking. It's right for the taking. So that's what I'm going to do. And of course, we have a Black Wall Street in Richmond, Virginia. It's the Jackson area, right? We have HBCUs. We have Madden Walker's house, first female founder of a bank.
Oh wow!
In America, right? So like we have the
King's Dominion also too. I was just in Williamsburg a few weeks ago.
Okay, we got the outlets. I can go there and give me one of them $20 crack candy apples. You know what I'm saying?
He got it all.
On crack. You know what I'm saying? After you eat it, when you finish, you feel guilty as fuck for eating it.
Yeah.
I love Williamsburg, Busch Gardens area, Waterford.
Yeah.
I love that entire area down there. Going up for Kings Dominion. I spent so many summers there. As a
I
teenager.
bet, because I know about it from my family living in the DMV. We used to go there when I would go to the summers there.
I love
To
it.
Maryland, we would drive there, and I'll share this with you real quick. We ended up in Williamsburg, Virginia, at a resort as a family vacation this year because we always try to do somewhere totally out the
What
blue.
y'all went to Wolf Trap?
Where was it again?
Waterford?
No, we didn't. We just the kids did some stuff. I didn't do nothing. I when I go to places, I like to chill out on vacation. I don't want to do nothing really. I'm that person. I'll sit back and read. But I know they got out. But like last year, we went to Branson, Missouri. You know, we just try to find places that the average people wouldn't go, and that's how we ended in Virginia. This just literally a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I love it. Like you could go down, you can do the pilgrim experience where you can go there, get dressed in cosplay.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so you can do all of that. You go a little further south, you get to Portsmouth. That's the home of Missy Elliott and that whole vibe down.
Wow!
Virginia Beach.
I don't think I've been to Virginia. I've been to Myrtle Beach.
Virginia Beach used to be awesome, and so they turned into a sanctuary city. Virginia is you have to have a license to carry here and have a city to go and enjoy the beach, but make sure you are armed. You have the right to be armed in Virginia, so make sure you use that right if you're going to Virginia Beach.
Okay, I got it loud and clear. Well, listen, Sonnie.
Tell you some things.
Listen, I'm from the hood. I live in the hood, and I love the hood. I just love us, right? I tell people all the time. I have conversations.
That ain't us down there. That ain't us. You won't be running into us down there.
Well, you know what's in that
down there, but what you will be protecting yourself from ain't us.
Yeah. Well, I'm from that. Listen, once again, I'm from that area. That's why I don't judge these young boys today, because I was them. I was a full-fledged game breaker. I had to go to prison to learn my lesson. But Sonnie, thank you for coming on with me and giving me an opportunity. This is why I call it the Corrected Felon Podcast, because I believe in correction. Yeah, you can label me a felon all you want to, but you can't say that I'm convicted, I'm corrected. And I try to have these conversations because I try to put information out there that I think people like myself can benefit from. People that's from time to time been dealt a bad hand in life, or like we.
And I appreciate when you call yourself corrected. And I appreciate you doing these kind of chats and you putting yourself out there. There's this misconception that a felony status comes with an unintellectual mind or a lazy spirit or a violent tendency. And that is not necessarily always the case. Or it's not the long-term case. It was just a momentary, just a nigga moment that happened. And then you caught me on my nigga moment. You caught me on my one bad. So I think that a lot of people who wear that felony tag have to go with a lot of those other adjectives that downplays their intelligence, that downplays their wit, their slide, their patience with society as a whole. And when you have people like yourself and are willing to put your name out, your voice out, your story out, I think that enlightens a lot of people to understand that this class of people deserves more attention than just to be brushed off or judged for one bad day in their life. So I think the more we start to understand that and let intelligence speak for itself, I think we'll start having more fire conversations. And I love that you let your intelligence speak for itself. So thank you for having me on. You got him! Do it! Dad! I'm so excited. Mine better be signed. Okay. I will. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so super proud of you. I'm so, so proud of you. Thank you for having me.